Where have you guys been? It's been a while. I think it's been like 2 months. So today I'm going to talk about my 18-month post-op from ACDF surgery. As you can tell from the title, I just want to go over some of the things that I have felt, how I'm doing, how I'm feeling, and was this surgery worth it? So let's get into it. Hi, all. I am Suki, and welcome back if you are returning to They Call Me Suki, and welcome if you are new to They Call Me Suki. I would appreciate if you can hit the like button right now and the subscribe button. We're trying to build the channel, and I plan to be more consistent. It's just that I have had a lot going on from my job. So, with that being said, let's get into this 18-month post op. So, first of all, I have good news. I think in the last video I was talking about my back, and that was something that happened to me after my surgery. I went into rehab, and 3 days before leaving rehab, my low back started hurting extremely bad. And I thought it was from sitting in this oversized wheelchair, and I'm very short and my feet didn't touch the ground. So I thought that was it, but it just went on for several months, actually over a year with low back pain. So it was so excruciating. When I got home, I had to use a heating pad. And then some of you know from my previous videos that my job made me come back to work sooner than what the doctor wanted, like I think 4 to 6 months before. I can't really remember, but I had to go back in November of 2024. The doctor didn't want me to go back until April of 2025. So I went back, which I work from home, but still sitting down, I was in excruciating pain. So the only way I can sit was to have heat, which I ended up burning my skin because the only way I could sleep was to have heat on my back. And then I started going to get lidocaine injections in my back, which I still continue to do. So happy to report that the back pain is much, much better, much, much better. But I do still have some knee pain, and I am still using the cane because of that. And then I also did something to my ankle. So I'm using the cane still. But in terms of having to use it because of the ACDF surgery and my back pain, that's not the reason. So happy to report on that end. In terms of my cervical spine itself and my neck, I started having pain again, probably like the end of December. So I think a lot of it is really, and that's when I stopped doing physical therapy as well. But I think a lot of it is due to me being in front of the computer so many hours. And then I have just a laptop that's sitting on a lift and then a monitor that's this direction. So my neck is turned to the right most of the time. So that's where I'm actually having the pain on the right side of my neck towards the back. So unfortunately, I am using heat again at night to try to loosen up. It feels tight, and then I still cannot lift my hands over my head to comb my hair. So that's something that I did not expect. I have not mentioned it to the surgeon, but I did request to get back into physical therapy, which I have started. I did one evaluation session 2 weeks ago and then one actual session last week. And I had to cancel the other one because we had a lot of rain here in California. And the physical therapy office that I go to flooded out last year as a result of the rain. So I did not want to be in that. And we had some really heavy rains last week. So, yes, I'm having pain in my neck. Is it as severe as before? No. Um, and then sometimes I do still get like nerve pain in my fingertips. Not often. I'm not falling, none of that like before. Not really stumbling over my feet. I say not really because I've done it a couple of times, but nothing compared to what it was before the surgery. So, do I recommend the surgery? Would I do it all over again? Absolutely, yes. I would do it all over again. Even enduring all the stuff and the fact that it took me over a year to actually kind of recover and still kind of recovering still because of the stiffness in the back of the neck and not being able to really lift my arms up. So, but yes, I would do it all over again. I would absolutely recommend it to anyone that's considering it, because even with all the ups and downs that I've had, the having the um, what is it called, vertigo, like maybe a week after coming home from rehab, I ended up in the hospital again for 10 days with vertigo, and then also ended up with adrenal insufficiency, which I'm still dealing with. But I also found out from my doctor that the vertigo possibly was a result of the adrenal insufficiency and not the actual surgery. So, because they've done all the tests on me, several tests, all the way up until last month, dealing with the vertigo. I mean, it took that long. I've taken tests multiple times. It's just, I'm a very hard stick. So they wanted to do an MRI with contrast, and it's just very difficult. So I ended up doing it 6 months before without contrast, and then coming back, doing it again 6 months later. They still couldn't get the line in, so I did it again without contrast. And then 2 months after that, they actually got me an appointment with contrast. They sent me to the hospital to get a line put in, which I asked the doctor to do initially because I know my heart's sick and she wouldn't do it. So it made me have to go back and do an MRI twice within 2 months, which they said it's no radiation, but still, who wants to do that? Take off work and having to drive and pay multiple times for this MRI. Doctors don't seem to think about that. This stuff isn't free, even though you have insurance. You still have co-pays and out-of-pocket costs. So that I was not happy with, but happy to report that there's nothing going on with my inner ear. There are some things in my sinuses, but I already know because I have a deviated septum. But in order to get the crackling in my ears solved, I have to get the deviated septum repaired. So I had an appointment with the doctor to see her, but something came up. I don't remember what it was, but it ended up being canceled. So then I don't have, and she's really booked out almost a year. But thankfully, I was able to get an appointment. I believe it's in June, so 6 months out. Um, After waiting for like 6 months to have that appointment. So anyhow, that's what I'm saying now. 18 months post op, I feel really good. Am I 100%? No. Would I do it again? Absolutely freaking yes. So I had to add that freaking for emphasis, but bottom line is yes, I would do it again. And I would recommend it if you have reservations, do your research, watch a lot of videos, ask as many questions as you possibly can. And I would say yes, go for it if you really, because I mean the alternative for me was they told me if I didn't do it because it was from C3 to C7, it was a possibility because there was so much compression on the spinal cord, I could have become a quadriplegic. So yeah, I did the surgery, and I am happy to say that I'm glad I did it, and I would recommend it. Um, am I happy that it took so long for me to completely recover, which I'm not 100%, but almost? No, because I was told in the beginning it would be 2 to 3 months recovery, which ended up being almost 2 years of recovery. My surgery was in August of 2024, and here we are in 2026, and still dealing with tightness and then now some pain in my neck. But I would still absolutely still 100% do it over. The only thing is dealing with the adrenal insufficiency, which has been not fun because I'm on steroids and I really didn't have any room to gain weight, but I've gained a lot of weight, like 60 pounds more since the surgery, and I had lost 30 pounds before the surgery to get prepared for the ACDF surgery. So my recommendation, though, that I can tell you from things that I learned after having the surgery and 18 months out, which I'm still struggling with my walking. My walking is not good like it was before the surgery. And then I get tired easily, pretty winded sometimes. But I think the winded part is a result of me being deconditioned and gaining so much weight. But the walking is because I had so many issues, after the surgery. I was doing really well in the physical therapy there, walking with the walker, and then coming home being sent home without it. But what really took me out of being completely good at the pace that I was going was that I had the low back pain. So, what I can tell you, if you do this surgery, start exercising before, if you have not been exercising in a while. As soon as you know you're going to have this surgery, start exercising. Basically, they tell you to walk. Start walking as much as you can. And then also, if you are overweight, try to lose as much weight as possible before the surgery. It will absolutely make your recovery easier. So I can say those two things: lose weight and start walking. And then after the surgery, continue to walk, because if not, it's going to make it really hard for you to get your walking back. At least for me, that's my experience. A lot of the people on the videos, when I was doing my research on YouTube, they didn't talk about, how this affected their walking, and that you may have to use a walker. You may have to not really completely learn how to walk again, but you have to learn how to walk without a walker. So those are things, and without a cane, which I still use a cane. So the goal this year is to lose some weight, get to walking, just get to walking. And I think if I can lose the weight and I get to a point where I can walk, I can get rid of the cane. I think that'll solve a lot of my issues. So again, I'm going to emphasize, start walking as soon as you know you're going to have the surgery. If you are overweight, start losing weight. Even if you can only lose 5% of your weight, do that. Because I know I lost like 36 pounds before the surgery, between 30 and 36 pounds. I believe it was 36 pounds. And it was just me using an app called the Lose It app, which I've used for years, because I've struggled with my weight for a while now, due to having other back pain. So, and then being a full time caregiver and working full time. So, I don't know if I have much more to say. I wanted to know if you can comment below if you want to have me do a video about how I prepared for my surgery, pre and post op, and what I did in between, and the things that you need to get, like different tools you'll need, because one, I couldn't really take care of myself. I needed a caregiver, and I couldn't afford to have the caregiver full time because I was paying for my husband to be in a facility. We were paying together. So most of the money needed to go there. And I had a caregiver just to help me come in and help me get a shower, um, and, help me get breakfast. I cooked my own food, but just for them to help, and then help clean up around the house, which I really think I need now. So those are some of the things you may consider. You may need a recliner if you don't have one, a hospital bed, which I use. I use my husband's hospital bed. I still actually use it. So if you want to know things that you need to prepare for the surgery, and things you need for post op when you come home, or what to do if you go to a facility or a rehab, or if you don't have anybody to take care, no one to take care of you, to help you, you're going to need to go into a rehab or to a care facility until you recover, because you cannot take care of yourself. At least I couldn't, and it was because I had so many levels from C3 to C7. So if you have just one level, you may be able to come home right away and take care of yourself. But still, they tell you no bending, lifting, or turning, BLT, bending, lifting, turn, no bending, lifting, or turning. So those are things that you will not be able to do. And I prepared my house, as if I was coming home, and I packed my stuff as if I was going to rehab. And I ended up being in the hospital a lot longer. They said it could have been overnight to 3 days. I ended up being there 7 days, and then I went into rehab for another 10 days. Was it 10? No, another 14 days. 10 days was the hospital stay after I came back home. So you're gonna be sometime away from home, and if, like me, and my husband couldn't take care of me because he has had strokes and he can't walk, um, I had to pay somebody to help me, and I went into rehab. So if you have someone to help you, I would say make sure you let them know you're going to need help, and you're going to need help for some months. Um, it's difficult. Taking a shower is very hard. Toileting is very hard. So one of the things I did end up getting was a bidet to help me because just can't turn to clean yourself. Not trying to be vulgar. It's just, it is what it is. So if you want me to do a video of all of that, I think I probably will just do a video because I think it's helpful, because these are things that I really didn't know. And it's very helpful to know these things. So I don't want to keep this video too long. It's already over 15 minutes. I just want to give you an update on my 18 months post-op. I'm doing better, doing well. I feel good. Just have some pain at night in my neck. So I sleep with a heating pad, and it's not really all night, so that the next morning I'm good for work. But I think now that I'm back in physical therapy, I had a massage with the therapy last time and I felt better. So now that I will be going back next week because I couldn't get an appointment, they're very busy. So I think the more I do it, I will be better. And then I think I'm just going to start really rehabbing myself, like I said in the last video. But I've been so overworked, I just have not been able to do it. But again, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Check out whatever video I have up here or down here and give me a thumbs up. Hype my video if you can. I really want to get in the algorithm. A lot of YouTubers new are seeming to get monetized fairly quickly. I have not been monetized. It's been almost a year. But if I don't, that's fine. At least I'm sharing my information. If I can help someone, that's worth more than money. But would it